And speaking of Zach, there is no denying he's a pretty buff guy, right? But it appears he's been upstaged by a whole new cast of leading men. Christina explains.
I'm so glad it's on film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can tell my kids, like, Daddy used to look like that.
Bradley Cooper showing off his incredible body in the A-Team. Jake Gyllenhaal flexing his ripped biceps in Prince of Persia. They are two of today's hottest stars, but there's a new breed of box office beefcakes to look out for. Pretty boys are giving the brawny guys a run for their money.
They're more like the Orlando Bloom type.
I thought you cared about it. I do care.
The new male stars of tomorrow include Red Riding Hood's Shiloh Fernandez and his British co-star Max Irons, Jeremy Irons' son. Both were relatively unknown when they were cast.
They don't want the audience having a preconceived notion of who that character is.
USA Today came up with a list of the hot new stars, which includes many Brits and Australians who tend to earn lower salaries than their American counterparts. Shiloh experienced the Brit invasion firsthand.
I'd been auditioning with 2 other Americans here, and we had this screen test, and like 8 or 9 British boys showed up to kind of steal our parts. And it was a very kind of nerve-wracking experience.
If you find yourself just looking at people to say, oh God, he's good-looking or he's muscly or something.
The film's producer Leonardo DiCaprio discouraged Shiloh from getting too buff, further proving that thin is in.
He was like, yeah, you know, they were worried that you weren't big enough, that you weren't gonna train, and he was like, yeah, you know, for Titanic, they were going to have me do workouts too, and I skipped it.
Looks like lanky British-American Andrew Garfield of Social Network fame also skipped grueling workouts to get into his spandex for the highly anticipated 2012 Spider-Man reboot. But for those into a more built physique, there's plenty. British actor Henry Cavill shows his ripped muscles in the upcoming Immortals, and he also nabbed the lead in 2012's Superman, Man of Steel.
I had to work hard to get every film I did after Troy.
All-American actor Garrett Hedlund isn't a newcomer, but with Tron Legacy and Country Strong now under his belt,
I think that this is a guy that could break out big.
That breakout movie may be the upcoming film adaptation of the classic book On the Road, co-starring Kristen Stewart. Aussie Liam Hemsworth, whose good looks charmed ex-girlfriend Miley Cyrus in The Last Song, is slated for the upcoming Arabian Nights, and his brother Chris is the title superhero in Thor. And the sexy Irish-reared Michael Fassbender appears as the brooding Mr. Rochester in the recently released Jane Eyre, and will flex his muscles in this summer's X-Men First Class.